On June 25th, 2009, after going into cardiac arrest, the coroner determined that he died from a combination of the propofol and several sedatives. And so why is the doctor being tried? He's being tried if he should be held liable for this or not. Attorney Karina Castaneda, our criminal defense lawyer here on the show, joining us to talk about this and the case of Lindsay Lohan as well. You know, these celebrities, I mean, they're all over the news for their different criminal defense and criminal problems. What are your thoughts on this? Do they get off easy, or is it harder for them because so much scrutiny is into their cases?
Well, they're just people too, just like any of us. So they, you know, some have their flaws. And clearly, Lindsay Lohan has her, you know, faults right now, and she's going through a probation violation hearing, probably, maybe, if Judge Fox in Beverly Hills decides the battery charge in Palm Springs is meritable.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit more about Lindsay Lohan's case later. I'd like to talk to you about Michael Jackson's case, because is it still ongoing, the hearing, or it's done the other day, right?
It's finished.
Okay.
It was a 6-day preliminary hearing. The judge in downtown, Judge Pastor, held it to answer. So now it's on a trial calendar, okay? It's probably going to be sent to a different judge. What happens between preliminary hearing and if it does proceed to trial is Dr. Murray's attorneys and the prosecutors that will be in charge of doing this case will be negotiating and trying to maybe do a plea bargain. But the way it's going right now, it may be proceeding to trial.
To trial. Why is that? Why? Because we were talking about this earlier in the green room, and you mentioned you've been in this situation, entering a plea bargain with your client, involuntary manslaughter as well, and they weren't. Luckily they got off.
You know, the maximum for involuntary manslaughter in this charge is 4 years state prison.
Okay.
Dr. Murray, to mitigate what he's done, he's had no prior criminal history. He's a doctor. So in the reality of the way criminal courts would work, there probably would be a bargain less than the max of 4 years state prison.
So maybe 2 years in
maybe
prison?
2 years, maybe not even, you know, probation, certain things like that.
But see, that's the thing. Involuntary manslaughter, there's a person that is dead. And it is Michael Jackson. So this is just being scrutinized everywhere. Do you think that will carry weight when negotiators get into the plea bargain with Dr. Murray's lawyers?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, okay, your question was, do celebrities get a lighter treatment?
Right.
In this scenario, probably not, because the whole world and Michael Jackson's fans want somebody responsible for his death. Right? And it looks right now, Dr. Murray was pretty reckless with the way he was behaving. I mean, he failed to monitor him after giving these really powerful sedatives and anesthesia to him that would probably be given at a hospital setting.
So you agree with the findings from the preliminary hearing?
Absolutely. Yes. It's a very low burden, by the way.
Right.
It's not beyond reasonable doubt. So.
Exactly. Okay, so we're going to look at wait for the developments of that case, and I'm hoping we're going to be able to have you back also to talk about that. But another reckless behavior, we've seen a lot from Lindsay Lohan, and we initially talked about this. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, probations, is that really very serious, you know?
You know, probation is, you have to obey all laws. All laws. It doesn't need to be filed as a battery charge in Riverside. You just have to be a good citizen.
Right.
Now, the question is, does Lindsay...
You have to be anyways, whether or not you're on probation.
Yes.
Okay.
So, for the time of probation, Lindsay Lohan should not probably be, you know, acting up, drinking, missing curfews, throwing a tantrum, and maybe hitting this lady.
What do you think is the future of this case?
You know, quite frankly, she's in a rehab setting. And when you're in a rehab setting, it's not being out in public. You know, you're going through your ups and downs, up and downs. Now, that's the problem I think the Riverside prosecutors will be deciding. Can you really, if you file a battery charge against Lindsay Lohan, prove this beyond a reasonable doubt that this is a battery charge? I mean, when somebody's going through drug rehab or, you know, narcotics, alcohol rehab, like she did in Betty Ford, you give her a little bit more break, right?
Right.
There's going to be moments where she's going to relapse, which I think she may have.
Right.
So
it's a good excuse if you were defending Lindsay Lohan in this case. What about if you've had experience, you were DA for 10 years, so if you were the prosecutor in this case, what would you do?
Well, it's not up to the prosecutor when it comes to probation violation. It's going to be up to the judge.
Okay.
Judge Fox is going to decide, look, have we been treating her lightly?
Letting it slide,
Lindsay Lohan, are we going to put a stop to this and put her back in jail?
How do you think will the judge decide?
That probation is serious.
How do you think will the judge decide?
Judge Fox is very, very fair. I've appeared before him. He doesn't. He's not going to look at this lightly. I think he's probably talking to Riverside County prosecutors to see what case they have. If they don't have a case, he may not do anything, but she's on a very short leash.
Wow.
Very short leash.
Thank you so much. And we can all learn from all this, because whether or not, you have this high status in society or you have money, each one of us, we go through the same problems every day. Temper, run-ins with the law, sometimes drinking, and and all that. So thank you so much for explaining that to us today on the show, and I'll have you back, definitely.
It's nice to be back,
the developments. All right,
always.
Thank you so much. Good to see you. More power. We will be back for more on Kababayan LA. Don't go away.